Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Kind of weird stuff going on. I didn't even know this was scheduled, and maybe it wasn't scheduled, or maybe it just kind of went under the radar. They are doing their OCG live stream for a lot of the Dune cards that have yet to be revealed this morning, pretty much right now, and it's probably going to steadily come out here over the next hour or two. But I saw what the first thing they dropped was the new Gazelle archetype or Baphomet archetype, whatever, you know, the Yugi's classic, like, beast fiend monsters, part of a cool fusion archetype. And it's already here, and I really wanted to go through them. I haven't read any of their stuff yet, and I think they also released another generic new card. We'll cover that as well, and then I'll probably make another video for the rest of the stuff that gets revealed this morning. So really hype. You know how I feel about the set. I feel like the set so far has been a little bit underwhelming relative to my expectations, so hopefully this stuff hits pretty hard, but let's get into it before anything else here. So starting off, we have a new archetype for pretty much all that stuff. Chimera, the flying mythical beast, but revamped. So starting off here, we have a new version of Gazelle, the king of mythical claws. I'm going to try to zoom in here. Oh yeah, this is going to zoom in pretty well. Look at this. He actually looked, I mean, it looks badass. The new artwork seems to look really clean so far. So looking really good. There. He is a level 4 Earth Beast, 1500 attack, 1200 defense, 2 hard ones per turn effects. The first one reads, if this card is normal summoned or special summoned, you can add 1 level 5 Fiend monster or 1 Chimera Fusion from your deck to your hand. I'm assuming Chimera Fusion is just their new fusion spell, and I'm assuming Baphomet will count as a level 5 Fiend. Second effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a fusion summon, you can add 1 illusionist monster from your deck to your hand. Okay. Is that like, I'm thinking of like Millenniumized Illusionist, stuff like that. I think they made a new illusionist monster recently. Seems weird. I don't wonder if this is a typo, because it doesn't have the, quotation marks to mark that it's like has to have illusionist in its name. But still, this card is pretty good. On summon, it's a +1. When it's used as fusion material, it's a +1. So potential +2. Lot of resources coming in off this card. Seems pretty good to me, I think. So yeah, it's going to depend on how good Chimera Fusion is, though. That's definitely going to be a big play here. Next up, we have Baphomet, the Great Wings, of course. The other part from the classic trio of Yugi's little engine here. He's a dark level 5 fiend, of course, so he is searchable from your boy Gazelle. 14, 18, pretty poop stats, but I'm sure he has better effects than that. 2 hard ones return effects. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add a level 4 beast, so that would be Gazelle. And or Chimera Fusion from deck to hand. So they both kind of do the same thing. They get the other or the fusion, whichever one you don't have. Also, you can add special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except fusion monsters. That's interesting. So what I like is they both search fusion. So even if you have a way to like special Baphomet from the deck, like if he's listed as a specific fusion material, you can use fusion deployment for Baphomet. Baphomet grab Gazelle, normal Gazelle get the fusion, boom. You've got both your materials and the fusion, and they're going to get you cards, I assume, when they're used as material anyway. This card is sent to the graveyard for a fusion summon. You can target an illusionist monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. Okay. Seems good to me. So yeah, I mean, this gets a card back when it's used. This gets one from deck. They both search a card on summon. Not bad. I mean, he is level 5, so he can't be normaled. So that's going to be a question, is like, what else can we do to get him out aside from something like fusion deployment? But still pretty good, all things together. All things considered, if you want to see a closer look at him, there he is. The new artwork looks crazy. I mean, very, very good, very modern. That's the next guy. Spoiler alert. Okay. Whoa! Okay, I did not realize that's what's going on. They say illusionist monster? That's just a new type. It's just a straight up new monster type. Like Cyberus was the most recent one. Illusionist is a new monster type. Wow, I wonder how hard they're going to go in on this. This thing looks crazy, creepy, and cool all at the same times. But yeah, he's an illusionist monster. So let's see what he do. Level 4 Wind Illusionist, so he can be searched off of this. He can be summoned back off of this. You can discard this card to add one monster that mentions Chimera Fusion from your deck to your hand, except for itself. Nice. Monsters cannot be destroyed by battles involving this card. Okay. And when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a card you control and you control Chimera, the flying mythical beast, you can banish this card from your field or graveyard, negate that effect, and if you do, destroy that card. I mean, I think this is a pretty good card. I mean, it's already just a searcher for either Gazelle or Baphomet. You know, I don't think the second effect really matters. When are you battling with this guy? But in grave now, just pretty much having targeting protection at all times. On top of this, like we've seen cards that just have targeting protection, and it's just not enough. But on top of it, just being a Rhoda card is pretty nice. Okay, not bad. All right, moving on here. We move to Mirror Sword Knight as the last main deck monster here, a new illusionist monster for the main deck. I can't really tell what's really going on with him too much here, but he's 1900 attack, 1300 defense. Nice. Level 4 light illusionist. First and third effects, hard once per turn. Quick effect. You contribute this card to special summon a monster that mentions Chimera Fusion from your deck. Okay. Well, all right then. That's okay. Glow Bulb. Very cool. Monsters cannot be destroyed by battle involving this card. Okay. And when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, and you control Chimera, the flying mythical beast, you can banish this card from your field or graveyard and negate that effect. Wow. Okay, so not even like a targeting or an effect that would destroy, just any monster effect on the field. You just have an extra negate now for that. Very cool. Yeah, this guy, I mean, these seem cool. I mean, you do lock yourself into fusion, so that's going to be a worry here, is like, does this just have to be a cool fusion engine to combine with other stuff? And it depends on how good the fusions actually are. So let's get into those. This is Chimera the Illusion Magical Beast. This requires Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast plus an illusionist monster. This card is always treated as a Phantom Beast. Wow, okay. Wow, there's kind of a lot going on here. Alright, okay, let's see what he do. This card's name becomes Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast while it's on the field or in the graveyard. That's what I needed, because we saw the other effect earlier that needed exactly Flying Mythical Beast on field, so that's cool. This card can make it a second attack on monsters during each battle phase, up to the number of fusion materials used for it. So 31, but can attack twice, is pretty good. Monsters cannot be destroyed by battles involving this card. Well, that's terrible then. That's awful. If this card battled an opponent's monster at the end of the damage step, you can change that opponent's monster's attack to 0, also negate its effects. That is permanent, but I still don't like the idea of leaving my opponent up with like all their bodies going into their next turn. So that is still kind of off to me a little bit, but okay. It does, as far as that monster's usage on the field, it kind of eliminates that, but I still don't love it. Okay, not the best card, to be honest. I was really hoping this would be a little bit stronger than that, but it is what it is. Let's see what the other fusion does. I didn't think we'd actually get to... Oh, here we go. If you want to see the artwork real quick, this is him. Pretty nasty looking guy, almost like a what am I... Oh, what are they? A gladiator beast looking card, pretty much. Alright, moving on, we have Chimera, the Phantom Beast King, a level 6 Wind Beast Fusion Effect monster, 2118 for the stats. He requires any beast and any fiends. He's much more generic here. You can only use the second and third effects once per turn. This card's name becomes Chimera on the field or in the graveyard, but is still treated as a Phantom Beast card, so same thing, both of those. I can't remember all the Phantom Beast cards, so there could be some extra synergy there as well. If this card is fusion summoned, you can activate this effect. During the end phase of this turn, send one random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard. Well, okay, just hand rip one. Now we're seeing a little... Now we're getting a little more oomph. Okay. During your opponent's turn, quick effect. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one beast, fiend, or illusionist monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. Okay, that's pretty cool as well. I mean, being able to get recursion there. This is what this guy looks like. He looks crazy. This one to me is just effects straight up are like way better than the other one. This one's supposed to be the boss monster. This one feels like more like a facilitator, but this one's still damn good for what it is. The goal is like summon him. You get the ability to hand rip a card, and then from grave you're going to be able to, then you use him as the material to be the Chimera Flying Mythical Beast material to make him, and so you're hand ripping a card, you're making this guy, then you also have the ability to reborn something. Now you're getting extra recursion here, but there's no effect here that's like particularly good on the field from any of these guys, like on the opponent's turn. So that, I guess you get Mirror Sword Knight, so you can just like get him and then quick effect get something else, but even then, like, what are you getting? So I don't know. It's interesting. But also, this is very generic. It's important to note that, we have a lot of effects that can just send cards from the extract to the grave, and this guy just reborns any beast, fiend, or illusionist generically. Quick effect from grave, which is pretty good. So this card actually definitely has some legs to me. I'm very curious to see what happens with this guy, for sure. All right, and the last card we have here is of course, the new Chimera Fusion. Hopefully this card's crazy. It's a quick play. It's a good sign. Second effect's a hard once per turn, so the first is not. During the main phase, fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material, including a beast or fiend monster. Okay, so, it is somewhat generic. It only needs a beast or a fiend to be utilized there, which you should be doing most of the time, which is cool. I wish that was beast, fiend, or illusionist, but it is what it is. During your main phase, if this card in your graveyard and you have Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast on your field or in grave, you can activate one of these effects. Add this card to your hand or banish this card, and if you do, special summon one Gazelle, King of Mythical Beasts, and one Baphomet from your deck and or graveyard. Wowee. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot going on here in this entire engine. I think there's actually a handful of cards where I'm like, that's a good card. That's a good card. Now it's going to come down to, what it can combine with, because obviously this isn't enough by itself to be a whole new thing, but some really cool stuff. Honestly, I'm very intrigued by this and to see what fusion engines could potentially jump in with this, and if it could be worth. I mean, you get a lot of good material off of this. The question is just going to be, what can you do with it? Because a lot of fusions are kind of particular and need the right kind of stuff. Maybe it's a branded deck, maybe it's a Shadal deck, something weird. I don't know. But I'll definitely keep my eyes open. I'll definitely be looking there to see what we can do with that. I think the only other card here we've had revealed is actually a new Fire Channeler. We could have guessed this with the Fire Legendary Duelist and, Rescue Ace we just got recently, stuff like that. It makes a perfect sense. And also the what is that card? Blaster, coming off the OCG ban list. Makes a ton of sense. It's basically like the other channelers. It's a level 5 fire spellcaster, 1850-15 for the stats. It's always treated as a charmer. You can use the first and second effects once per turn. Discard this card and a fire monster as cost to add a fire monster from your deck to your hand with attack greater than the attack of the other discarded monster. Also, you cannot activate monster effects for the rest of this turn except fire monsters. So, same thing as the Earth one, but the Earth one literally just saw a little bit of play because it was being utilized in the super heavy samurai conjunction deck that was played at the YCS and actually did okay. It is pre the new support, so maybe that card gets phased out when they actually get the new cards, but it seemed like a helpful consistency card there. Stuff like Salamangrates want to be engraved, stuff like Volcanics want to be engraved, this could actually come up there. It also says if a fire monster you control is destroyed by battle, all this card's in hand, you can special summon it. Fine. Whatever. But yeah, just generic fire searcher. It's pretty hefty on cost. So if you get Ash on it, it's pretty brutal. But other than that, it's not a terrible card to get you access to your fire stuff. But really, really cool. Oh, we have another Altergeist. Here we go. All right, let's keep it moving. Wow, we have a lot. They have 4 new cards. Jeez. Okay. Here we go. Altergeist Malwisp. This is a level 3 light spellcaster tuner effect monster. 1500 attack, 0 defense. You can only use the first and second effects of this card once per turn. If this card is added to your hand, except by drawing it, special summon it. That's decent. Okay. Pretty sure Meluseek gets you to this. I'm sure there's other. Well, then the traps obviously can get you to this. Pretty cool. Second effect, if this card is normal or special summon, you can target an Altergeist monster in your graveyard except for itself. Special summon it in defense position, but it cannot activate its effects this turn. That's pretty good. I've kind of been talking about how the one thing I really wanted to see for Altergeist at this point was the ability to like spam the board a little bit more early and consistently, because you have these like extra deck monsters, and all those monsters really function as is like game enders, and they don't really come up mid-duel a lot of times. You just kind of have to use your traps, and you use Silquicious and Multi-Faker to kind of, you know, hold your opponent at bay until you finally have enough resources to drown them. But being able to get to them much earlier is really cool. All right, cool. It's a nice card to extend. Altergeist Perinatrator. I don't even know. I'm not even gonna. Yeah. Level 1 Fire Spellcaster Effect Monster. 500, 300 for the stats. You can only use the second and third effects once per turn. This card can attack directly. Okay. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can draw 1 card. Okay. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can send an Altergeist card from your hand, deck, or face-up field to the graveyard. Does Meluseek need to be sent from field, or can Meluseek be sent from deck and still get its effect? Because if so, this card's still gets extra material engraved, gets Meluseek, then Meluseek, I guess, could search this card summons and reborns. I don't know. There's definitely some potential here for both of these cards. I mean, listen, the question is going to be like space too. Like, we already have Marionetter and we already have Meluseek as your main normal summons, plus you already play stuff like Silquicious and the one that blocks attacks, and Multi-Faker, which are kind of cards that can clump in hand. They're not always great. These are cards that I'm not sure you want to clump on hand with, but I don't know. I don't think they're bad cards. The question is going to be space and ratios and what you go with from that standpoint. All right, next up we have Altergeist Adminia, new Link 4 Dark Spellcaster Link Effect Monster, 3000 attack. It has the cross, like the red cross arrows up and down, left and right. 2 or more Altergeist monsters, so it is locked to Altergeist. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's effects once per turn. If this card is Link summoned, you can set an Altergeist trap directly from your deck. Oh boy. Okay. Once, while face up on the field, during the main phase, you can send 1 card you control to the graveyard to target an effect monster your opponent controls. Take control of it, and if you do, it is treated as an Altergeist monster. Wow, that's a really strong card. Now, my concern is this. It's a Link 4. This deck usually made its Link 2 just to kind of try and set up, and, that's when you're ending the duel. You don't even need to get all the way to a Link 4. Now, that being said, we also have, this card's drawing you cards, which could find more Altergeist extenders. This card just is an Altergeist extender that gets 2 Altergeist bodies on the field. Can we make this turn 1? That's going to be the question, and how consistently can we do that as well? I'm not sure, but it's a very, very interesting card to look at here. Insanely powerful, right? Like, a trap could just be like the monster negate, and so you would have like a monster negate plus the ability to just steal an opponent's monster. Is pretty insane. This card's strong. There's no question. It's just going to be access to it, and if it makes sense. Like, is this a card where, like, if you have 4 Altergeist materials worth of stuff on the field, is this card worth making, or should you just be setting up the Link 2 and like doing a Link 2 line? I don't know. It's a very interesting though. And the last card here is a new trap, Revitalization. You normal trap, you can only use 1 of its 2 effects per turn and only once that turn. That's pretty interesting. Can't use both. Target 1 Altergeist Link monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. Only Links though. That's really interesting. Okay. Only Link monsters. Second, you can banish this card from your graveyard immediately after this effect resolves. Normal summon an Altergeist monster. This is the card I have the most questions about, because not only do you need to summon an Altergeist, but then get it into grave. And then secondly, you can't even do both effects in the same turn. So this is a trap, so you'd have to set it, then activate it to get the reborn effect. Then it'd be in grave, and you'd have to wait till it works its way around to like set up an Altergeist in hand that you want normal summoned. And that makes me wonder, like, what do we really want normal summon? I guess if we just have too many Altergeist cards in hand that can come up later on, I guess. I don't know. I mean, an actual Altergeist player would probably know better than me on some of this stuff. Interesting stuff, though. Definitely some really interesting cards. I think Malwis is my favorite card here, just as its ability to help put Altergeist names on the field to get into some of the links. This card's not terrible. This card's really strong, but I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to make it. And this card to me seems like the weakest of the bunch, for sure. But we'll see. Maybe it's better because the deck might be better at spamming than I'm giving it credit for right now. We'll have to wait and see. All right, let's check real quick before we get out of here to make sure nothing else got blown up. Okay. I'm going to end it off here. They're probably going to have a couple more things to reveal here. I don't know how much, but I will bring it to you if it is worth mentioning. Thank you so much for watching. I know this is a long video already. Let me know your thoughts down below on all of this stuff. The Altergeist stuff, the new Gazelle Baphomet archetype, and even the Hita, if you think that card's cool as well. I'm out of here. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Check back later. I'll see you in the next one. Bruce.